talk about low-budget flights, no food or movies? I'm out of here. I like running better. Welcome back, YouTube viewers, to another video. So, I was gone for a bit. I didn't upload yesterday. I didn't have a second video last week. I don't always have one, but I usually do. So, I was sick. Still have a bit of a cough, so I'm not going to sound the best, but it's finally time for me to do another video. And I thought, why not? I was just had no idea what to do, so I thought, why not rank every version of Silver the Hedgehog? Silver is one of my favorite Sonic characters. He's definitely a fan favorite these days. I don't think he's nearly as hated as he used to be. So, this list is going to include as many as I could think of. So, also, here's how I'm going to rank it. So, you're going to see Sonic, different versions. So, Sonic 06, pre-reboot Archie, reboot Archie, IDW, Team Sonic Racing, Generations, Forces, Colors DS, uh, that's what I'm doing, okay? So you kind of get the general idea. So without further ado, let's do it. Uh, it is you. That was terrible. Let's dive on in. Number 9, Silver and Sonic Generations. Excuse me. So, Silver isn't bad in Sonic Generations. It's just, what do I even say? He's just a boss fight and has 2 lines of dialogue, and don't get me wrong, it's a good boss fight. And there's nothing wrong with the dialogue he gets, it's just that, again, he's just a boss fight. He's nothing in this game. This Sonic Generations barely has a story. The only characters I would even call characters are, Sonic, Tails, and Eggman. Again, nothing wrong with it. He's only at the bottom of this list because, again, he's just nothing. Number 8, Silver and Sonic Forces, which, yes, this character model is from Sonic Runners, but there is no character model of Silver from Forces, so I'm just going to use this, okay? So, Sonic Forces, Silver actually gets to appear in cutscenes and have a few lines of dialogue, and, that's nice. I'm really glad he got to do that. Here's the thing. It's Sonic Forces. Nobody likes this game. It's a joke. It is a rushed, boring, short mess of a game. And Silver, despite being in cutscenes and having some lines of dialogue, the game has 17 minutes of cutscenes. He's still barely in it at all. There's not much to say about him other than his dumb line where he says, "I'm an optimist, but I'm also a realist." What does that even mean? I know Silver's an optimist, that's part of his character, but also a realist? Huh? It's just whatever. Number 7. Silver and Sonic Colors DS. So again, this is not much of a scroll, but one of the reasons I like Sonic Colors DS is that Eggman's big interstellar amusement park where you expect to see a lot of people actually has people in it, unlike in the Wii version, and they're all recurring Sonic characters, so you get to see them. They have actual lines of dialogue. They're actually pretty well characterized. And I like how Silver is treated here, so he's just here, and he's not visiting, "Oh no, Sonic, I heard that Eggman's pulling Interstellar Amusement Park, and it's going to ruin the future or whatever. I gotta show up and help you." He's saying, no, the future's actually doing pretty well. I like the future. My world's actually really nice now. I'm just coming here to visit. And he gets a first time in a game that is not erased from the canon that he gets to meet with Blaze. It's nice. Yeah, it's just, again, not really anything to say here. It's just I like how he is here, despite how little he gets. Number 6, Silver and Team Sonic Racing. So, much like Colors DS, he doesn't do a ton, but I do actually quite like Silver here. I mean, one, his lines do have full voice acting, which is very much appreciated. I mentioned my Sonic voice actors video. I quite like Silver's current voice, Bryce Papenbrook. He probably sounds the least like Silver out of his 3 voices, but for some reason I just like it. I'm not really sure why. But anyway, he's pretty good here. Yeah, I wish in the games or the story it would just be after the events of, I don't know, Sonic Rivals 2 or something. Silver just stays in the present and is, with his friends. I mean, I guess in Sonic Forces he's just there to help out, which is nice, but so I don't really like the idea of him saying, "Oh, I got sent a message all the way to the future," which, how does that even work? Anyway, I like him here. He gets to be on a team with Blaze and Vector. For some reason, should have been Blaze and Espio, but anyway, yeah. I still like him here. Again, Much like a lot of Silvers, now that you really think about it, he doesn't do that much, but it was nice that they included him here. It was nice that he got to be pretty well handled. So yeah, deserves the number 6 spot. Number 5, the Sonic Rivals duology. Sonic Rivals 2 logo with Sonic Rivals 1 artwork. So this is Silver's first canon debut, because '06 got erased from the timeline. So he's pretty good in these games. I like how Sonic Rivals 2 is full voice acting, so you get to hear a lot more of his lines from Pete and Capella. But other than that, he travels I guess in both these games, back in time to save the future from Eggman Nega. In the first game, it's oh no, he wants to turn the world into a card. In the second game, it's just a lot better. He learned from Gerald Robotnik's journal about the Ifrit, a fire monster that he can unleash upon the world and destroy it. So that's what Silver's trying to stop. Another fire monster, which is admittedly pretty cool. So Silver's a lot more of exposition plot than he is in other games, but it's still nice that he's here and he's not handled poorly. And again, I think he just gets to have a main role in something, even though it's just a spin-off. Overall, I'd say Sonic Rivals 2 especially is just a pretty good Sonic game. We're just looking for character interactions because again, it has full voice acting. You've got some interesting pairs with some of the characters, but that's a whole other thing. So yeah, Silver in the Sonic Rivals duology, pretty good. I like him. Number 4, IDW Silver. So yeah, fans of this channel know that I probably know that I really hate the IDW comics, but I gotta say, Silver is probably one of the few parts of this comic that I actually like. He's still not ideal. I mean, I think they played at him being dorky a bit too much. I don't really like that. Silver, while naive, is not necessarily stupid in these comics, but he's just a little too dorky. Silver's supposed to be a little more serious, He came from a doomed future to help save the world and all that stuff, but he's still not bad, I'd say. The reason because yeah, I do think he's characterized better in the Rivals duology, but since he actually gets to do stuff here and we finally get to see Super Silver in a comic, that's got to put him here. And again, we just get some nice character interactions. He gets to appear with Blaze a few times. That's nice. That's because of the ship, guys. But he gets to talk to Espio in one story, which I actually did really like. Because that harkens back to Sonic Rivals 2. So yeah, he's not bad here in IDW, not bad at all. Number 3, here's where we get to the Silvers that I really like. But excuse me. Okay. Sonic 06, Silver's first appearance. I'm sure some people would want him to be number 1 or number 2, but I gotta put him in 3, so. Silver is handled very well in his debut game. As you can see, yeah, he's turned 200 years in the future, where everything is destroyed. It's been ruined by a giant fire monster called Iblis. He fights with Blaze to help protect people, and there's basically nothing. And then they meet Mephiles, who lets them travel back in time to find the Iblis trigger. Silver finds out the truth, has his whole character arc about overcoming his naivete, meeting up with Sonic and Shadow, having let Blaze go as she sacrifices herself, all that. I like Silver here. Good character arc, good vocal performance by Pete Capella, good theme song, cool design. That's just it. Because again, Silver's story here is handled pretty well, but I mean, there isn't a ton to say about his character here. I feel like the only character in 06 you can really say much about that isn't negative is I guess Shadow. Shadow's arc is pretty good there. But yeah, I like Silver in 06. I think if it weren't for the fact that he originated in a game that was pretty rushed and beaten up, he'd be a lot more popular and he'd appear in a lot more things, because Sega really did want that 3 Hedgehog trio, and I think Silver is definitely worthy of complimenting Sonic and Shadow as a cool trio. That said, I still like what he is here regardless of how the final product turned out. Because Sonic 06 did have a pretty good story, mostly. Okay, number 2. So, number 2 is one that I would have put at number 3, but I just gotta give him a 2. And that's Silver in the Archie reboot. So, Silver hardly appears in Reboot Archie. off again. But so he only appears in Sonic Universe 75, which I haven't actually read, which is a prologue to Worlds Unite, I think. And then he appeared in The Silver Age, his own story, and that story is just phenomenal. The first story Evan Stanley wrote for a Sonic comic. Was never that big a fan of her artwork. Thought some of her artwork in her fan comic, Ghost in the Future, was decent, but Tracy Yardley, Jim Ambush, Matt Herms are drawing this, so artwork is great, and her script is actually really good. Apparently, Silver's her favorite character, at least I'm pretty sure he is. So, yeah, I can definitely tell that from this script. Silver is handled super well here. He's naive, but he's not stupid. He's serious, but isn't over serious or super dramatic or anything. He gets to have cool uses of his powers. We can see how a cool version of the future where it's not apocalyptic, it's dystopian. Everyone is forced to live in a society where they're ruled by these guys in hoods who are really creepy. And Silver just knows that, hey, if anyone finds out about I have these powers, I'm gonna get kidnapped by our leaders and taken to somewhere. So he has to keep his powers a secret until he meets this Professor Von Schlemmer guy, who apparently is from Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's a really good story. But the one scene from this story that really got me to put him in number 2 here is when another character says, when this giant monster called the Second Devourer or something has arrived in their time to destroy everything, and Goal of the Tenrec says, "We can't stop it. It's no use." And Silver says, without hesitation, "It's no use. I'm sick of hearing people say that." I love that line. Look, I've gotten my fair share of laughs with the "it's no use" line in the past. It's kind of impossible to. But I am so sick of people joking about Silver and thinking that he's nothing more than just the "it's no use" joke. So when he can say it in a comic, great artwork too, again, he can just stand up and say, "It's no use." I'm sick of hearing that. I'm just thinking, yeah, now that's Silver the Hedgehog. I may not really have enjoyed Archie's reboot that much, but I did enjoy some of the Sonic Universe stories, and this was definitely one of them. Too bad we're never going to get to see what happened to him. But of course, no matter how much I liked him in the reboot, nothing can compare to the number 1 spot. Archie, pre-reboot Silver the Hedgehog, is one of the best written characters I've ever seen, in my opinion. He is great. In fact, the Silver Saga, the graphic novel, may have been the first Sonic comic I ever read. Maybe it was Enerjack Reborn and Sonic Saga series, but it was one of those two. And even though I didn't know who Silver was, I didn't even know he was a game character. I didn't really know anything about the Sonic series at the time. I still thought, wow, this guy is really cool. And even though I didn't understand anything in his story, which I talked about in my 100 subscriber special, the best Sonic story of all time, probably. I talked about how I didn't know anything was going on in Silver's story, but I really liked it. Whenever I'd find a graphic novel at the library that had something to do with Silver's story about finding the traitor, I was always super interested. And when I finally found out who the traitor was, that was super interesting and all that. But Silver, okay, actually about Silver. What is Silver in pre-reboot? So, I mean, you could watch Low Art's fantastic video why Archie Silver's the best Silver, which you should, but the way I see it is just that I like how he's handled here, as he's exactly the way I described him before that I liked. He's naive, but he's not stupid. He can still be serious. He gets to have cool uses of his powers. And here, since he gets a lot of focus, he gets a lot of good development. He learns in this whole fight with Enerjack that he is really powerful. He has limits he's not even dreaming, he can't even imagine yet, but he just cannot defeat Enerjack, no matter how powerful he is. He realizes that you should fight not first on the battlefield of the fists, I guess, but on the battlefield of the mind. As sometimes brute strength just isn't enough. You have to counterattack. You have to actually think instead of just doing. And it's really well handled. Also interesting when you see that the two guys who are telling him that, hey, you need to think about your fighting, because remember, ultimate power ultimately corrupts. You can't just get caught up in your power. The two guys who are telling him that are Mammoth Mogul, an immortal guy who was in the main comics timeline, a big villain who had all these epic cosmic battles of the universe. And now he is telling him, hey, power's not everything. Other guy telling him that is Edmund, the descendant of Dimitri, the guy who became Enerjack. And also, Edmund is the name of Dimitri's brother, the guy who stopped him. So, all that stuff. But also, Silver gets a lot of great character interactions in this story. He's trying to find the traitor. He keeps getting caught, but it has to be someone. He doesn't really want to kill anyone, but he feels like he knows he has to. He's got no other choice. He's got to do this. But then when he finds out at the end that he doesn't need to kill someone, he has to save someone to save his future. That's really powerful stuff. Or the scene where he talks with Jeffrey in the Secret Freedom Fighter story arc is just so good. I almost cry whenever I read that. So, because the whole context of that is everyone hates Jeffrey St. John. Everyone knows he is actually a traitor, not just the Freedom Fighters, but to all of Mobotropolis, really. Nobody likes him. Most of the comics fans hate him. The characters in the universe hate him. And heck, aside from a few stories before from Carl Bowlers, I didn't like him either. But Silver, after everything he's gone through and everything he knows about Jeffrey, is able to say that maybe we don't need to beat him up to get answers or whatever. What if I just talk to him? He thinks he could. He really thinks he could just ask him, and hey, if it doesn't work, okay, go straight to the fighting. But give him a shot, and it works. And since Jeffrey is spying on the secret freedom fighters, and we're all talking about this, he overhears and is genuinely touched that is going to talk to him first instead of just immediately jumping to pounding his face in. And so, while pre-reboot was canceled, since Silver did technically save Sally, I think we can all say that he did save his future. And overall, even if that didn't happen, this will still be my favorite version of the character. So, in conclusion, you could probably see why I really like Silver the Hedgehog and why I think all these rankings are where they are. So, I'm probably going to do another Sonic characters ranking sometime, ranking every shadow, but that's going to be a whole lot longer, and I'm going to wait for the third movies to come out. So, comment down below what you thought of this, because I'm sure there are some mixed opinions. So, that's all for now. And as always, keep on juicing.